Alrighty, what's up everyone? Wanted to film this video walking through just some growth mapping and unit economic scenarios. So let's dive right in. Now, let me change these numbers to reflect what we want it to reflect. Just bear with me here. And while I'm doing this, I'll explain kind of what the purpose of this video is. So in a previous video, I went through this growth mapping kind of scenario here that maps out your total gross or net revenue over the course of 12 months. In this video, I wanted to go a little bit more granular and actually get down to the unit economic level and figure out, LTV to CAC numbers, CAC LTV numbers, and really just go a few levels deeper into the actual costs and ROI, whereas the growth mapping video is a little bit more broad and over a longer time horizon. This, we're actually focusing right down to the unit level to see if it's viable. And if you are in SaaS, if you sell B2B or B2C SaaS, if you sell B2B services, this will be relevant for you, so stick around. And as I said, what we want to do here is make assumptions. If, let's say you're a new business, we can make some assumptions here and figure out what your numbers should look like. If you already have a business that's been up and running, we can kind of validate the unit case, okay, and the unit economic model. And then from there, you will have peace of mind knowing that your numbers actually make sense and the business works. So in this scenario, I'm going to be using outbound as the kind of marketing channel. So to figure this stuff out, you need to have your marketing and sales numbers handy. So I'll make another video on what the unit economics look like from an inbound channel, and then we can even do another video blending the outbound and inbound channels. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to stick to outbound. So what I've done here, I've assumed a contact volume of 10,000 people. So that's 10,000 leads and a cost per contact of 5 cents. So if you're using something like Apollo.io to source your leads, you can get them for about 4 or 5 cents. If you're using something like ZoomInfo or one of the more, just frankly expensive tools, it's going to cost you more than that. But Apollo is good in my books, so you can use that and have a low cost per contact, which means that your total data cost per month is going to be $500. Now, the number of accounts needed is calculated based on the number of contacts that you engage. Same with domains. So I recommend sending 50 emails per account per day, okay, and sticking to 4 accounts per domain, right? So to figure this out, to figure out the number of accounts that you need, you want to take your total contacts and multiply that by the average number of emails that each person's going to get. Okay, so if they're getting 1 initial email and then 4 follow-ups within that 1 month time period, you're going to want to do in this case, C6 times 5. So 10,000 times 5, divide that by 31, because that's going to give you the daily average, and then you divide that daily average by 50, and that's going to give you the amount of accounts that you need. So in this case, it'll be like 50,000 emails, right? Divided by 31, whatever that is, divided by 50 gives us 32. And then 32 divided by 4 is 8, which gives us the amount of domains that we need. So you're going to want to have 8 domains, each with 4 different, each with 4 sending accounts, okay? I've also included the costs for the administrative stuff here, so the domains in your accounts. So the domains, that's on a yearly basis, they're like, what, 15, 20 bucks. I believe new accounts are about $7-8, $7.80 if I remember correctly per month. And here we can see our tool costs, or if you have an SDR that has salary, you can put that number here and it will calculate correctly. Anything in this tool, I'm gonna link out the actual tool at the bottom of this video in the description for you guys. And then if you want to use it, just make a copy. And anything that is not highlighted in blue, those are variables that you'll want to change, okay? Everything else you can pretty much leave constant. If you want to change up the commission rates, just go in here and change the formulas or any other rates if you actually know your numbers. just go in and adjust the formulas. Okay. But anyways, your tool cost per month should be around $200. Okay, not including the data. And then your total monthly cost is going to be your tool cost per month times your monthly account costs, the sending accounts, plus the data cost per month. So we have just under $1,000 per month of expenses to just run the campaigns and source enough data. Yearly cost, it's basically that stuff times 12 plus your domains. Okay, so just under 12 grand for the year, right? And that is pretty much if you're running, 10,000 contacts per month, which is a relatively decent volume, right? If you've been doing outbound for a bit and you have a system that's working, 10,000 per month should get you a good return. But nevertheless, you can get 120,000, potential kind of eyeballs there, right? Let's say 70% of people open that. That's 7,000 people per month that are seeing your material. So for 11.5 grand per year, that is pretty good. Now, we'll jump down to the outbound performance. So that is set at 70% for the opens, 3% for MQL. So this is just a lead rate, essentially. And then meetings booked is set at 20% of leads. Okay, so about 20% of people that actually respond to the outreach and become leads should book onto the calendar. And then out of those, about 80% should show up. So that's about 34 meetings. And then out of those meetings, about 80% should be qualified. This, if you have a high qualification rate and your, targeting is really good and whatnot, and your team is just running efficiently, and you can bump that up maybe to 90%, 85 maybe. So we'll do that. We'll keep it at 90. And then if you're paying commission on booked meetings, for example, we can also calculate that here. So let's say you're paying up an SDR $50 per book meeting that they book for you, or for SQL. Let's see what we have it set to. So this here we have it. Yeah, we have it on shown meetings. So our cost per MQL is just going to be our MQL divided by our monthly cost here to run the outbound stuff. Okay, so 210 divided by 951, or vice versa. 951 divided by 210 rather. And then our cost per meeting is going to be the commission per attended meeting, okay, plus the monthly cost divided by the number of meetings that were shown. And then the cost per SQL is going to be essentially just that number divided by 0.8, because 80% of the meetings will show up. So you'll get the same answer if you were to do it, a formula like this as you were doing it like this, which is just easier. But nevertheless, and we can even, we really could have done it this way as well. We could have just divided this by 0.2, to be honest. But nevertheless, that is what your marketing costs will look like from outbound. Okay, so you'll be paying about $100 per qualified lead, which is a per qualified lead actually into your pipeline. So not just per lead. Per lead, you're paying $4.50, which is pretty low, right? Like for a marketing qualified lead, that's relatively low. And then per a sales qualified lead that you've actually accepted into your pipeline, you're paying about $100. Okay. Now for your MRR, we're going to be using a monthly kind of recurring model here, and assuming a 12-month contract. So you can, depending on your business model, you can kind of play around with this tool and map out the actual logistics of the offer and the realization of revenue as you would. And then, the numbers will vary, but of course, depending on the offer and whatnot. But here we're going to assume a 12-month contract that moves over to like a month to month after the first 12. Okay. And then that is how the commission is going to be paid out as well. So it's going to be paid out on the initial contract value. Okay. So that 12-month deal value, which is $18,000 if you're selling $1,500 per month deals. And we're going to assume here a close rate of, let's assume 30%. Let's assume that you already have a business and it's going well and you are good at sales. And that you have an SDR and an account executive that are closing deals. Okay, or sorry, an SDR that's setting deals and an account executive that's closing deals. Okay, and then these are their monthly and yearly commission stats based on these figures here. So the SDR commission, in addition to the per meeting shown commission that they'll get, which is that flat rate, they're going to get 2.5%, which works out to $450 per deal. And then the account executive will get 10% of the deal value in this scenario. Okay, and then that, because it's a monthly recurring model here, and it's an initial 12-month, contract or agreement, we can pay out the commission on day one, basically on the close date. So, or in that month, for example, instead of on cash collected. You could do this on cash collected, okay? But in terms of being able to hire people, if you have a lower deal value like this, and it's just straight $1,500 per month, and they get paid out on a per month kind of basis, and they have to really start to stack those deals that start to get paid out like month by month, right? And their commission starts to compound. It will take a few months for them to actually start making any good money. So you can test with that. That way you can actually keep your initial acquisition costs down. Your monthly, your net MRR will go down though. Okay, so you're kind of eating up some of that initial CAC in month one, but your monthly net revenue will actually be higher, right? Because you're not having to pay out that commission over a longer time period, and you're actually ending up paying less commission. Okay, so because if you were to pay it out monthly, you'd probably want to do something closer to like 15 or 20% per month to actually entice people to work for you and stay around. Whereas here, if you're just paying out on the deal value at about 10% for the account executive, maybe 2.5 or 2 to 3%, maybe 2 to 4% for the SDR, they're making enough where they're actually going to stick around to be happy. And you're, although eating a little bit of the CAC on the front end, you end up with more profit down the line. And as we see in this scenario, the payback period is, you're profitable in month 2, right, on the unit level. So it doesn't really matter at the end of the day because you're signing 12-month contracts. And in this case, let's say your churn is 5% per month. Your average customer term will end up being 20 months anyway. Okay, so imagine having to pay, 20% or 15% of the MRR for 20 months. You end up paying a lot more out to your reps, which is not necessarily a bad thing, right? But you need to kind of find the balance between what you're actually willing to pay your reps and what they're happy with, and so on and so forth. But in this scenario, your SDRs are making 70 grand a year, and your account executives making 200 grand a year. Okay, so very healthy, healthy numbers there for your employees. Now your COGS, I'm just assuming that it's a SaaS model, 10% cost to fulfill. With SaaS, it would actually be lower than this. So this is actually like a really high cost to fulfill for SaaS. But let's say it's a SaaS with some, maybe backend services or whatnot, and you leverage the software to help you fulfill, but it's still maybe like a semi-service based model. We'll say 10% cost to fulfill, and then your total commission paid on every deal is going to be $22.50. Okay, so your CAC is going to be your marketing costs plus your cost to convert, right? So the sales commission. Now the marketing costs, you're going to calculate that by dividing your cost per SQL by your close rate. Okay, so that's going to give you your marketing CAC, and then adding on your commission that you're paying out to the reps will give you your sales CAC. Okay, and that's going to be your blended or total CAC, cost to acquire a customer. And here we can see that the gross LTV per customer, just revenue, is $30,000 if they stick around for 20 months or 1.7 years. And the net LTV per customer is about $24,500. Okay, so this is factoring in your CAC and your COGS. Okay, and then the net MRR in month 1, you are, as I said, eating away from your profits because you're fronting more of the commission up front. Okay, so on the unit level, you're actually losing a little bit of money in month 1, but month 2, you are getting into profitability. Okay, because you start to recoup some of those losses, of course. And the payback period here is 1.7 months. Okay, so after 1.7 months, however long that works out to be in days, you're actually recouping your investment, and now you're into the profit. So after in month 2, this is actually a profitable model. Okay. Now, your gross ARR that you're adding per month is going to be your units closed per month times the ARR, the ARR of the deal. Okay, so here you're adding a $163,000 in ARR, gross ARR per month, and you're adding 123,500 of net profit per month. Okay, or sorry, this is net ARR number, so net, annual kind of profit per month. And on a kind of unit level, you're closing 9 deals per month in this scenario. If you are reaching out to 10,000 people, 7,000 open, you get 42 meetings, 30 SQLs, and your close rate is 30%. So that total cost for that first month is going to be, or per month in this scenario, is going to be $23,372. And in this scenario, your total ROI, okay, on your gross LTV is about 1,200%, and your total ROI on your net LTV is 950%. Okay, so this is calculating your CAC against your gross LTV, and then your CAC against your net LTV. And we can see in this scenario, the LTV to CAC ratios are very strong. You want this to be at least 3.0 or greater, so a 3-to-1 ratio of LTV to CAC. And then for your CAC, your percentage of LTV that you're allocating to your CAC, you want that to be, 20% or lower. So in this scenario, we are, again, very healthy, and those numbers check out, right? So as I said, the use cases for this are essentially just to make sure that the business is profitable, okay? And then if you have, let's say, other overhead or things that you want to kind of factor into that, you can just add cells and basically, loop those into your costs and basically work out what you need to be charging and, how you need to be collecting the money as well to have a profitable case here. So if you find that, you're charging $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000 per month, and the payback period is very long, let's say it's 6 months plus payback period, then you want to figure out ways to either increase your monthly your MRR, or figure out ways to collect more cash up front, maybe charge just shorter payment plans on the total deal value, charge up front, offer discounts for getting more cash up front, so on and so forth. Or maybe coming up with other cross-sell offers, right? So let's say you have a service-based business, right? You're selling info or services. Maybe you can add on a SaaS subscription. Maybe you have a SaaS that you're working on, or a new SaaS tool that you're releasing, and that you can then sell into your current customers to increase your overall LTV of those customers, right? So different things that you can do here to play around with those numbers and essentially just figure out what makes sense for your business, right? So a lot of times I find that businesses, kind of go into things without knowing these numbers or having a strong understanding of, kind of the direction that they need to go in, right? And they just speculate on what their profits are going to be, and they have kind of a rough idea, right? Especially if you're a founder of the company, you do have a rough idea based on the amount of customers that are coming in versus what you're spending on. But if you get very specific, then there's no there's no reason that you can't actually create a successful business, right, and get things where you need them to be. Okay, so that's why it is very important to just have your kind of finger on the pulse here, right? That's all that we're doing. We want to validate things out, and then also as let's say you make assumptions using this model and you're not using real numbers that you're actually achieving, that will keep you on the rails and set a guideline for you moving forward. Okay, and then let's say you're starting a new business, you want to validate your pricing, right? You want to validate different kind of things as it relates to your offer. And this is how you would do that, because if you have no data to kind of go against, you need to use a model like this to actually see if what you're going to charge versus what you're going to pay your reps versus how you're going to do your marketing using just kind of industry average numbers, let's say. You're going to want to validate that against a model like this, right, as you actually start to carry out those activities. So Yeah, as I said, there's going to be a link to this in the description there. So feel free to make a copy and use this modeling tool. So if you need any help with this type of stuff, okay, or want help building out this model and actually figuring out some of these numbers for your own business, we can actually come in and conduct an audit with you to figure out what your different KPIs and just numbers look like as it relates to each of these different kind of elements of the business. And we can actually build out a unit economic model for you. And then from there, if you need help, executing on any of this stuff in terms of just acquiring more customers and growing the company, we can, hop on a call with you, see if there's any way that we might be able to help there. And we have a few different options in terms of how you might, start working with us. So these are the different options that we currently have in terms of how you would be able to join and get some of our help. So we do offer some monthly or annual plans. The first plan is the launch plan. That is the free tier. And as it says here, that's a starting point for your growth needs as a new founder, or if you want to get a sense of kind of how we work and how we might be able to help you further. And in the launch program or that launch community, you're going to get access to the private community. You'll also get info and tools on how to go about positioning. Okay, so how to figure out your different ICPs, how to locate, underused ICPs or very green, kind of pasture markets. Then you're going to get the unit economics module, which goes a little bit more in depth in terms of like what I showed you in this video here. You're actually going to get a more in-depth kind of breakdown of unit economics and how to go about doing this stuff. You're also going to get access to another unit economics tool, which is, again, a little bit more in depth than this one. And then you're going to get the growth mapping module as well, which is essentially a more in-depth tool related to this growth mapping side of things over longer time periods. And then you're going to get sales funnel schematics to start to plan. And so that's a module and different templates that you can use essentially to start mapping out your sales funnel and what your sales funnel is going to look like and that customer journey, depending on where the traffic is coming from and how you're going to funnel them through to becoming a customer. Okay, so you're going to get schematics on that, and then you're also going to get one-on-one support from myself and my team via the private community. Okay, so that's in real-time chat. You can send us a message and we respond there very quickly because it is real time. Now in the activator, those are for folks that want to start actually validating out a new offer or an existing offer. Okay, so let's say you have an existing offer, maybe you've been selling for 6 months to a year with some success, but you think that there might be a couple of levers that you need to pull to actually start, growing to the next level. Now in the activator plan here, I wanted to make it so that the ROI is astronomical. Okay, so what you're going to get here is all the launch features plus info and support on crafting offers. Okay, so we're going to actually do an audit of your current offers and we're going to help you, update them essentially, create new offers or optimize your current offers and all of the positioning kind of behind it. And then we'll also get into like pricing and things there. Then we'll get into minimal viable marketing. So this is going to be the minimal viable marketing language that we're going to use to start validating your offers. And then from there, we can get into testing your offer viability. Okay, and we're going to go through essentially there how to do that. Okay, and how you actually go about testing your offer viability using different channels. Okay, from there, we get into outbound and lead generation. That actually goes into testing the offer viability, and it'll also there's kind of two parts to that. So one piece of the outbound is actually the offer viability, and then we actually get into the lead generation kind of at a low level, right? So let's say you wanted to start generating some leads and you were doing it more so manually, right? And you're just a founder and you want to, generate a handful of opportunities per month that you can, close at a high rate. We'll teach you how to do that. And then we'll get into a little bit of sales material as well, help you close more deals. And then there you're also going to get weekly consulting sessions with myself that I'm going to be hosting on Zoom. Those are once per week, and there you can show up, ask your questions, get one-on-one help from me. We'll dive into anything that you're working on there, and I will basically look it over and help you make adjustments as we need to. And then you're also going to get the intro to scaling. Okay, so Fusion Plus is really where we get into scaling things. You're going to get an intro to that for the in the activator plan. And then there we also have a 30-day guarantee. Okay, so if you're unhappy with it for any reason and you are not getting value from it, whatever the case may be, you've actually gone through the materials, you've implemented some things, we can see that, we'll actually just give you a refund, okay? And then that one there, again, it's only $97 per month, $97 per month, because I want the ROI on that to be insanely high, as with everything here. But nevertheless, for $97 per month, you should be able, just with using a process like this, you should be able to net, around $100,000 with just the stuff that we go over in the activator side of things. All in all, my goal for this is to have you net at least $100,000 from, nearly $97 per month. Then in the Fusion Plus, this is our full access tier for people that want a more done for you solution to scale past $250,000 per month. Okay, and actually scale up to 250 as well. So let's say you're maybe doing, we work with customers that are pre-revenue and have gone into this tier. We've scaled them up to 250, 270 per month, and then let's say you're at maybe 20, 50, 100K per month, and you need help getting to that 3 to 5 million ARR point very quickly, or 250 plus per month, and you don't want to have to spend $100,000 a year on a lead gen agency and then hire like a sales consultant and hire, another marketing person. You end up spending like hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this. And I think that model is broken. So what I'm going to do is, I've created basically the system where we can get you in for $14.97 per month. You're going to get access to all of the previous features that I mentioned, as well as more in-depth help with building out your sales process, the conversion velocity and automation system. Okay, so this is really this is the the catalyst that's going to allow us to get you to that 250,000 per month mark and scale beyond that. Then you're also going to get the tools that are associated with it. You're going to get updated your help on updating your sales funnel and your marketing messaging. We're also going to get into sales letter and video sales letter building here, and essentially building out a very strong sales funnel. Okay, so this is our bread and butter. We build out sales funnels, and we use automation basically to help you convert more deals more quickly. Okay, and without having to build a huge sales team. Then what we're also going to cover here is scaling outbound. So instead of the activator, where we're maybe doing a little bit more of a manual and personalized outreach strategy, in the Fusion Plus, we're going to actually get into how to achieve more scaled results with outbound, where we reach out to 10, 15, 20, 30, 50,000 people per month via outbound. We're also going to get into paid traffic here. Okay, so at this point, you can scale to pretty high without paid traffic, but if we want to get to that 100, 250K plus mark, we're going to need to use some paid traffic mediums, and then we're also going to get into CRM optimization there. We do offer a 90-day action-based guarantee. Okay, so there are things that are done for you in this program, and there's also elements that are kind of do it yourself or do it with you. So pieces of it me and my team will handle, and then other pieces of it you will handle, as long as we're both holding up our end of the bargain. If you are not achieving results, okay, or getting results from us, or are happy with the results that you've been getting, we're actually going to give you a refund. Okay, so after 90 days, we'll evaluate the performance of the work that we've been doing, and then if you are unhappy for any reason, we can actually just issue an entire refund of the $4,500 or so that you would have invested up to that point. Okay, so if you do have any interest in looking over these different options, and you want to see how we can help you with this stuff, book a call. You can either go to the website and go through there, or I will also leave my calendar link in the description of this video. But nevertheless, I look forward to chatting with you soon, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.